I am going to discuss the new arrival protocols starting November 16. I'm also going to discuss if the 72-hour negative COVID test is going to be required for all passengers arriving in the Philippines. First, I'm going to discuss the eligible passengers, including Filipinos and also foreign nationals allowed in the Philippines. In addition, I'm also going to discuss the quarantine and testing protocols for all passengers coming from green lane, yellow lane, or red list countries. Please take note that the Philippines is not yet open for international tourism. Now, who are allowed to travel? First, Filipinos. Filipinos have the right to travel in the Philippines, but you must present proof of Filipino citizenship. However, if you have no Philippine passport, such as your passport has been lost, damaged, or expired, what will be your remedy? Filipinos without Philippine passport can travel to Philippines by obtaining a travel document from Philippine Consulate abroad for emergency use. Now, this travel document is allowed only for applicants who cannot be issued a Philippine passport and have an emergency travel to the Philippines, such as due to medical or legal reasons or death in the family. Also, please remember that a travel document is only valid for 30 days, and this is only a one-way document that you can use when traveling to the Philippines. Dual citizens are also allowed to travel. You must have a foreign passport plus your old or valid Philippine passport, or your foreign passport plus your dual citizenship documents, which are 3 pages. Now, here are the immigration entry requirements for former Filipinos. Former Filipinos are those naturalized in a foreign country. So, for example, if you are a permanent resident in the US, green card holders in the US are not former Filipinos because you still possess your Filipino citizenship and you can still have your valid Philippine passport. Now, there are strict requirements for former Filipinos. For former Filipinos, Filipino citizenship is renounced upon foreign naturalization. Also, Philippine passport becomes void because you are no longer a Filipino. So please remember this one. In addition, if you are a former Filipino, you can still travel to Philippines through the Balikbayan visa program of the Philippine government. However, possession of an expired Philippine passport after becoming a foreign citizen does not make you a dual citizen. Balikbayan visa can be availed upon arrival in the Philippines. In addition, Balikbayan visa is free. You must proceed to Filipino lane upon arrival. Also, you need to ask the immigration that you will be availing of the Balikbayan visa. Also, you will be granted Balikbayan visa for 1 year from the date of your arrival in the Philippines. Former Filipinos can travel alone or with families such as a spouse or children. If traveling together with foreign spouse or foreign children, both spouse or children can avail of Balikbayan visa and stay in Philippines visa-free for 1 year. The foreign spouse or foreign children traveling together with former Filipino must have a return or onward ticket. In addition, the foreign spouse or children must have a valid passport for at least 6 months and beyond. Now, here is the immigration entry requirement for all former Filipinos. First, you must have your foreign passport plus your old or valid Philippine passport, or a foreign passport plus your authentic Philippine birth certificate. Now, for foreign spouse who is native and not traveling with Filipino spouse, here are the requirements. Must have a 9A visa. The passport must be valid for at least 6 months and beyond. Must have return or onward ticket. and the Filipino spouse must be in Philippines at time of intended travel. Now, the foreign spouse not traveling with Filipino spouse must have an authentic marriage certificate. Now, for foreign parent with Filipino child in Philippines, here are the requirements. Must have a 9A visa, and the passport must be valid for at least 6 months and beyond, and must have a return or onward ticket, and the child must be in Philippines at the time of intended travel. For foreign parent with Filipino child in Philippines, here are the requirements. First, you must have an authentic birth certificate of the child to prove affiliation or relationship. Now, here are the foreign nationals who must have a valid and existing visa to enter the Philippines. First, SRRV holders or Special Resident Retirees Visa. In addition, there are also other foreign nationals allowed. Philippine immigrant visa holders such as 13A, 13B, 13C, 13D, 13E, and 13G visa holders. Also accredited foreign government and international organization officials and their dependents. Also foreign airline crew members and foreign seafarers with 9C visa. Now, other foreign nationals allowed are temporary visitors. There was a press release issued by the Bureau of Immigration providing for this guidance for visitors. You must have a 9A visa and entry exemption document, which is impossible to obtain. So this is only for business, humanitarian, and meritorious reasons. Now let's talk about the travel and health protocols for all eligible passengers. On the latest resolution from the Interagency Task Force, there are now new quarantine and testing protocols for eligible passengers, providing for the new list of green lane countries and the proof of vaccination for eligible passengers. Here are the list of countries. Now, there are strict protocols regarding no quarantine requirements for those eligible passengers coming from green lane countries. First, you must be in a green lane country in the last 14 days. And second, your vaccination must be verified. And this is really important. Now, if you meet these two requirements, you will not be required to quarantine as long as you are fully vaccinated. There are two classifications of passengers. First are the eligible foreign nationals, including former Filipinos. You actually have one option if you wanted to avail of the no quarantine protocol requirement. Former Filipinos are those who are naturalized in a foreign country and have lost their Philippine citizenship, but they are qualified to travel in the Philippines by virtue of the Balikbayan visa. For all eligible foreign nationals and former Filipinos, you must have a negative COVID test 72 hours before departure or prior to departure. And upon arrival, there will be no facility-based quarantine. Another set of passengers are Filipinos or dual citizens or overseas Filipino workers. You actually have two options. The first option is to have a facility-based quarantine until the release of your negative COVID test. And the second option is by taking a negative COVID test or RT-PCR test 72 hours prior to departure. No facility-based quarantine, but you will also self-monitor for symptoms. Another set of passengers are those coming from a green lane country, but you are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or your vaccination cannot be verified, or there was no 72 hours test before arrival. You must pre-book a hotel for at least 6 days, but you will have a facility-based quarantine in a hotel for 5 days. You will be tested on your 5th day of arrival. Now, there are different set of rules for unvaccinated minor children traveling with vaccinated adults coming from green lane countries. You must also pre-book a hotel for 6 days but stay in a hotel for 5 days. The rule is that unvaccinated or partially vaccinated children traveling with their fully vaccinated parents shall be required to observe the quarantine protocols corresponding to their vaccination status. Now, if you are not coming from a green lane country, automatically, by definition, all other countries not included in the green list will be included in the yellow list. There are also separate protocols. So most Western countries, now here are the protocols for the vaccinated eligible passengers. First, you must have a pre-booked hotel of 6 days, but you will stay in a hotel for 5 days. Testing will be done on the 5th day. Now, you must also do a home quarantine for 5 days. Now, if you are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or vaccination cannot be verified, you must pre-book a hotel for at least 8 days, but you will have to quarantine for 7 days. Your test will come on the 7th day of your arrival. Now, you don't need a pre-departure negative test before coming to the Philippines, but you must have your pre-booked hotel of 8 days. You must also home quarantine for 7 days. Now, there are 2 countries in the red list, Faroe Islands and Netherlands, starting November 16 to November 30, so you will be barred entry if you're coming here in the last 14 days. Except if you are coming as a transit passenger or an OFW based on repatriation efforts of the government. Now, let's go over the proof of vaccination for eligible passengers. This is important for purposes of the no quarantine requirement. For overseas Filipino workers and their spouse, parents, or children traveling with them vaccinated in the Philippines or abroad, the proof of vaccination that will be acceptable will be the digital or physical vaccination certificate of the foreign government where they were vaccinated without the need for the reciprocity agreement. Now, for non-overseas Filipino workers vaccinated in the country or abroad, or foreigners vaccinated in the Philippines, these are the acceptable proof of vaccination. VaxCert Digital Vaccination Certificate or Bureau of Quarantine World Health Organization issued ICV, or the national or state digital certificate of the foreign government where they were vaccinated, which has accepted VaxCert under a reciprocal agreement. Now, for foreign nationals vaccinated abroad, World Health Organization issued ICV or national or state digital certificate of the foreign government which has accepted VaxCert PH under a reciprocity agreement. Now, for those of you who are asking because there's no national digital COVID certificate in the US, what would be the most acceptable proof of vaccination? If you can obtain an ICV or international certificate of vaccination or yellow card, that would be great. But if you only have the CDC card, the card is also acceptable. Now, here are the entry requirements for all eligible passengers. First, 72-hour negative test prior to arrival in the Philippines if you are fully vaccinated or coming from a green lane country. And second, foreign nationals, including former Filipinos, must pre-book a hotel quarantine depending if you are coming from a green lane country or yellow list country. You must also register through the Onehealthpass and fill out the Traze App for contact tracing. In addition, you must also register for the ECIF for COVID testing, PADLAB for foreign airline passengers, and file ECIF for Philippine airline passengers. For overseas Filipino workers, you must register through the Red Cross for COVID testing. Also, you must wear a face mask. Now, regarding the proposal of no quarantine for fully vaccinated passengers from North America, this has not been implemented as of this date. However, the requirement is to provide proof of vaccination, and also there must be a 72-hour negative test before departure from the country of origin. So the government is emphasizing on these two requirements. First, negative COVID test, and then proof of vaccination, or you must be fully vaccinated to enter the Philippines with no quarantine requirement. Thank you guys for supporting my channel, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. If you recently traveled in the Philippines, please share your travel experience and let us know what you think of the travel restrictions. Thank you guys for supporting my channel, and if you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.